once again, another match I had to skip, mainly because Cody Rhodes was in it. And Rick, did you check out any of this match?
No, honestly, I didn't.
That's all right, man.
I actually didn't.
You and the entire AEW universe. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for downloading and listening to West Box Score Lucha Royale Audition. I'm joined today by Rick Esparza. What's up, dude?
Yo, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. Just letting everybody know there will not be a West Box Score episode this week because the Lakers and Clippers are stuck in the trenches of now a best-of-3 series. That means deciding Game 5 is tonight as we're recording for the Lakers, and then the Clippers play on Wednesday, which is when you'll probably be hearing this particular episode of West Box Score Lucha Royale Edition. But Rick and I kept busy over the Memorial Day holiday weekend by seeing the AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view, man. So we're going to give you a little recap of that. And Rick, Double or Nothing, were you all in on this pay-per-view? Were you excited for it? What were your feelings going into this pay-per-view, into the build that they were doing for it?
Lukewarm. Honestly, I was like, okay, I mean, there's some good matches in there that I would like to see. But at the same time, I was kind of, okay.
Yeah, you weren't all in. You were maybe nothing, but you were placing a bet. You weren't Double or Nothing on this bet. You were placing a nice, $5 on red, right?
Oh yeah, I wasn't gonna go all in.
It's all casino references with AEW and our metaphors to get started on this pay-per-view recap. Man, I mean, and I guess because the title match is everything, right, for a pay-per-view build, and we had Kenny Omega defending one of his 4 belts, against Pac and Orange Cassidy, and it's because they weren't built as real threats to his title, right? Like,
no, not really. I mean, Pac is great. Orange is, it's great to see him actually getting pushed, Yeah, it's fun to see him with the best friends and doing his thing, but all right, it's cool. But I don't see them as real threats to Kenny Omega. I don't really see them taking the title away from him.
Yeah, it's really and Kenny's playing the role of a dominant champion throughout 4 promotions right now, which is great, but it's also the double-edged sword there is that there's no real threat to him at that point. It's like, wow, why do I want to see order a pay-per-view here when I know there's no real threat to the champion losing his title. But the reason I wanted to see this pay-per-view, the reason I ordered it, is for the Stadium Stampede match.
Oh yeah.
And we'll get to that later. So we'll start off the card with the opener that was Hangman Adam Page versus the Machine Brian Cage in a steel cage. Oh no, wait, it wasn't. And Diamond Dallas Page as special guest referee. No, is that too much ages? Too much there? All right. So the opening card, the opening match lived up to what you want to have a strong opener, right? What did you think of that opening match?
Yeah, dude, it was a great match. It was what they always say. If you're not last, you want to be first. You want to steal the show. And it was a lot of fun. It was so much fun to watch.
Yeah, I think Brian Cage is this great powerhouse of a wrestler that he plays that. I mean, he's super strong and he knows how to use his body in those move sets that he uses of like, I remember one spot in particular was the suplex onto the ramp. Like just,
yeah, that looked pretty rough.
That was like, how do you not break your back on a move like that? And he's all muscle, so it's like, that is painful to watch and see that bounce that Adam Page took off that spot. And it's just like, it was throughout the storytelling of this match is just great. Powerhouse beating down Adam Page, and then a nice like comeback spots that like, oh wait, he's gonna use his speed and he's got some strength too. And it's just nice back and forth. To me, the really great story being told here is our eventual Brian Cage face turn that we're going to see. Yeah. In the finish there, Ricky Starks and Team Taz getting involved, and Brian Cage saying, I don't want to win it this way. I don't want to win it that way. I want to beat him one-on-one, and eventually costing him the win. And Ricky Starks is just this great like piece of shit heel because as Brian Cage is in his face, he's like, "Hey, don't hit me! I got a bad neck.
Yeah.
I got a bad neck here." He's pointing at his neck.
Don't touch the neck.
Don't touch the neck. Not in the face. Not in the face. Not in the neck either. So I mean, this is just great to see a face at Brian Cage down the road, right?
Yeah, I think so. It to me, he's great as a heel. But if you put him as a babyface, it's not a bad look on him. He actually, he's gonna, that he puts on stellar matches. Mm-hmm. So him carrying a belt or actually be able to go babyface is not a bad look on him. So I think it's not a bad idea.
A future champion down the road, not just a FTW champion.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely like a TNT champion. Definitely deserves a mid-card title run, at least to get started. But man, this guy, I mean, AEW has only been around, what, 2.5 years now? Barely going on the third year, I want to say.
I think so, yeah.
I think that, so, I mean, and they've only had, what, 2 champions so far, or 3 champions now so far. So it's down the road, there's going to be chances for hopefully homegrown talent to get a chance with that strap. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing the first of it now with Omega as the champion because he is essentially AEW homegrown talent, even though he made his name in New Japan and everywhere else throughout the world. But it's just, you want to see these guys like a Brian Cage and Hangman Page especially, right? Like, what happened to Hangman Page? I felt like he was there in the title picture, and ever since then, like, what's going on with him?
I actually don't know. Like I said, we were talking during when we're watching Double or Nothing.
Right.
He always wins, except for an actual title. So it seems like he has the push. He's always up there, but he never finishes. He's like an Ibushi at this point. Mm-hmm. He looks strong, he looks great, but then really never got the title. Well, now he got the title, but actually he lost the title.
He lost it, yeah.
But you want one of those things where it's like, when is this going to happen? Or maybe it's a long build,
slow build.
But I don't think so. I think it's one of those things where it's accidentally happening, mm-hmm. and then when he does win it, it's gonna be like a crazy pop because he's finally won it because he's been there for so long, kind of situation.
I guess the sports analogy would be he's kind of like Cruz Azul, doing good until it counts. Or wait a minute, shouts out to Cruz Azul, Rick, right?
Hell yeah, 23 years, they finally won it.
Congratulations, man. So I guess you would say Adam Page is more like LAFC because he's good. He hasn't lost any matches until a title match, and then that's where he loses. A lot like LAFC. Sorry, that's for you, Sonny. Get that. Got to get you to understand how we feel about Adam Hangman Page. All right, the second match of the night is usually the bit of almost a throwaway match, right? Like the kind of like the hot opener, kind of give the fans a little bit of a breather. But AEW did not let us take a breath here because the second match was the Young Bucks tag team title defense over taking on Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. And the first thing we were talking about when we were watching the pay-per-view together was like, you asked me, what did I think about Jon Moxley coming out to Wild Thing now? Uh-huh. And I mean, I think we feel the same similarly. I'm not a fan of it. I thought Moxley had a great intro song with his AEW theme song that sounded good, guitar heavy, fit his character perfectly. Now it feels kind of like a novelty, right?
Yeah, to me, it really feels like a novelty. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like you just said, he sounded already good. You already know he's a badass. It's one of those situations. And now you just kind of made you made him into like a little comic relief kind of situation where you're like, oh yeah, he's a badass, but he's funny. Haha. But the thing is, you can be a badass and be funny. You don't have to have a theme song that makes it like that. Like
the theme song's kind of burying him before he even gets out there. You feel it's a comical theme song.
It's never gonna make him look bad, mm-hmm. Because he's so over freaking loved. Everybody loves him. They know that he's such a great wrestler, and he shows it every single time. He's such a great wrestler. Yes, but it's like one of those things. Like, why would you do that? I mean, it's funny. It is funny. Him going out there like he was going, and they have the Young Bucks shoes, and they're throwing that, and he's throwing chairs, and then the wild things going on in the background. It was funny, but it's like, okay, how long is that gonna really go for? It's like, I don't really need it. one or two times, okay, and then after, why would you keep that going? I don't know.
I wonder if it's kind of like this AEW inside baseball thing, or is it a slow build to bring his song back? Like, are they torturing us by sitting through all these entrances of Wild Thing right now? And they're like, oh, All In, he brought back the original theme song. It's like freaking AEW build within a build within a build. It's an Inception build. Yeah, they're constantly doing that.
It's like new Coke, and then, we're bringing back Coke Classic.
Oh, man, AEW, sometimes they try to do too much, and I feel like, man, like Vince says, less is more. No, he actually says more is more.
I was about to say, I don't think less is more with him. Sometimes it's always usually pushing more and more and more.
Oh, man. But this match overall, and it's interesting for this match, we knew the Young Bucks weren't going to drop the titles here, but the build was just so good. And I mentioned to you as we were watching, like, you know what? Eddie Kingston knows how to put on a good program. Like the swiping of the shoes, I thought was really cool because the Young Bucks obviously are showing off their Dior Jordans that they have. Like, it's like super like, oh, these are like 10,000. And what is it? Don Callis is actually putting over the shoes too on commentary saying these are like $10,000 shoes that they're wearing. So of course they get beaten up after their match and have Moxley and Kingston steal their shoes. Like, very like just so well done and so well scripted that you buy into this build, and looking forward to this match. The match and anytime the Young Bucks are involved, you're gonna get some high spots.
Oh yeah,
and this match delivers on those high spots. I mean, and Kingston and Moxley know how to play the bruiser roles so well, jumping the Young Bucks as the confetti's flying. Such a great start to this match. These four guys put on a great entertaining match that it felt like this was two solid openers, right? Like the card starts off so good, strong openers here. What stood out to you in this match, Rick?
It's one of those things where you're like, all right, the Young Bucks are going to do what they do, and you're like, it's nothing new. But the thing is, it's so entertaining every time they do the same exact things and the same kind of gimmicks, and you kind of know what's going to happen, but they just do it so damn well. It's like AC/DC. It's just the same damn chords, but the thing is, they're so damn good at it. It's meat and potatoes, and they're doing it's just great. So it's like, it's going to be an entertaining match. And then Moxley and Kingston are just funny. I mean, they could get their shit kicked in. They could get their bruiser, like you said, going in. But the thing is, they know how to sell. They know how to still tell a story as well. So you have four very well freaking trained professionals and four really entertaining wrestlers. I mean, it was just a great match.
Yeah, I agree, man. And I love all the little subtle spots that the Young Bucks always do. Like, they're always going to do subtle nods, right? Like, my favorite was the shield spot, right? Where the Nick and Matt put their fists together and they do the whole, Roman Reigns power bomb, and the Kingston comes in to break it up because they were going to do that move to Jon Moxley, so former member of the Shield, which was a nice little nod there. So and then I love the way Nick Jackson came out with a full beard this time. This is the first time I've noticed him with a full beard, just like Matt usually has a beard sometimes. So it's like these are like full heel Young Bucks now. And you can tell because of the facial hair. We're not like little baby faces anymore. So how are we going to show that we're heels? We're going to grow facial hair. Like all these subtle nods. The Young Bucks are such a smart tag team and know their characters so well that you cannot help be entertained by them and love to boo them because they're such great heels right now. Best in the business, the Young Bucks right now. They're killing the business and they're also the best in the business right now, man. Seriously. So after this was the Casino Battle Royal. Did not get to check this one out. Had to step out. Did you get to check any of this out?
Not really. I didn't really get to check it out either. I was pretty much eating.
I hear you. No, but we do have the results for you. That was a surprising victor. Everyone thought Christian Cage was going to win it. Yeah. Christian Cage, he's got to get a title shot. Of course, he's going to get it. But AEW throwing us with a nice swerve gave it to Jungle Boy.
I know. That was actually very surprising.
I mean, this is what we were talking about earlier. AEW going with some homegrown talent now. I mean, and this is exciting to see. I mean, year 2.5, year 3 of AEW, they need to start pushing their younger stars. I mean, they've gotten some eyeballs over with a whole bunch of old WWE guys. Of course, the elite guys are why, hardcore marks like me and Rick are there. So we're going to be there. And I know they wanted to bring in the newer audience, but now that we're kind of here, that you have your AEW audience, let's start giving these young guys a push, right? Like a Jungle Boy, like an MJF, another future champion. They got to put the strap on him at some point. So it's exciting to see that AEW is finally doing that.
Yeah. And then the surprise Joker was Lio Rush.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh wow, okay.
What do you think of that? What do you think Lio Rush can do in AEW?
Well, I mean, he's a good shit talker, so I mean, he's gonna be entertaining
on and off the mic.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna be entertaining. I think he's a decent wrestler. I don't think I've actually seen anything too crazy from him. So I don't know. He's good, but I don't know what he's going to bring. He has a name. I mean, he's like you said, he just talks a lot of games, says a lot of stuff, but I would like to see what he's going to do in a company that kind of has a little more open reins kind of situation where they're not kind of holding him back, and see what he actually does. Because he's always says complaining, oh, they don't let me do what I want to do, over here at TNA, over here at WWE, over here, everywhere. It's like, right. Let me be me. All right. Now, in AEW, they give you that shot. They give you that chance. Let's see what you do with it.
Yeah, for better or worse, AEW lets the wrestlers do whatever they want. You know, like if you don't get over, it's kind of your own fault, right? Like there's no writers, producers, like we've talked about in previous episodes about AEW, which is, it's good. Like let the wrestlers have free range, but it's also they could benefit from somebody helping write for them and better produce some of the matches that maybe go on. They have a little bit of a weird spot sometimes when they get a little confused and are lost in matches. So it's all on Lio Rush now. So yeah, I have always felt that Lio Rush is a very serviceable high flyer. And he's not super innovative with his moves, but he can. I'm excited to see what he does against like Lucha Bros or the Hybrid 2, like those type of high flyer matches. But then also a stylistic counter to that. Like, what does he do against like a Miro, like a bigger guy? Because styles make matches, good matches a lot of times. So I'm be interested and a Brian Cage, who we spoke about earlier. Like, let's see what you do against powerhouses, how you use your high flying in those matches. So Lio Rush could be exciting. And also what I was just reading from Meltzer, because Meltzer is the wrestling god, that Lio Rush actually has signed with New Japan. Yeah. So this is like a New Japan talent being borrowed to AEW. So what are these rumors, Rick, about New Japan having a partnership with WWE? Is it more like WWE or is it going to sway to AEW? Where do you think New Japan's allegiance is going to finally lie?
I don't think New Japan is really going to go with WWE. They've had like a on and off thing. They know that if they go with WWE, it's a big name, obviously. It's WWE. It's worldwide,
Worldwide? Shouts out to Titus O'Neil.
But most likely they know that WWE plays by their own rules, and you're always going to get the short end of the stick.
Right.
With AEW, you're going to have a little bit more leeway. So I think they're just going to have both sides open, and they're going to play they're just going to play the fence. They're going to be on the fence, and they're just going to be like, all right, a little bit over here, or a little bit over there. And I think New Japan's really going to win at the end of this. They're going to get a lot more publicity, more so that they already have, because New Japan, we knew about New Japan before it started getting really big. Right. But the thing is now it's also starting to get that worldwide, feeling that they're pretty much, in a sense, kind of like the number 3 of the big ones. So I don't think they're really going to go. I don't think they're really going to like go straight WWE or just straight AEW.
That'll be interesting, right? Because that when AEW first started, they didn't have a partnership with them because they were loyal to Ring of Honor, and they had their original partnership in the United States with Ring of Honor. So that seemed interesting that they would now entertain other people, because I guess now that Ring of Honor partnership is over with, right? So now they're like, okay, now we're quote unquote a free agent promotion to work with another company in the United States. Like, would to your point, like, would they just okay? We're going to work with both of you and not have a a hand like not a like a signed partnership, because I don't know what that signed I don't think they had a signed partnership with Ring of Honor. It was just kind of like the working gentleman's agreement, right?
Yeah.
So now they're like, hey, heads up, we're gonna work with both of you guys. I wonder, but knowing Vince, from what I like, there's no way he would want to say okay to that, right? Like, oh, you're gonna send Okada here to Monday Night Raw, and then send him to the next All In pay-per-view next month. Like, I don't think he'd want that, right?
If there's really no title around it, I don't think Vince will have a problem. If it has to do anything with the WWE brand, like going somewhere else, that probably might be the problem. But actually having one-offs and stuff like that, I don't see why he wouldn't have he would have a reason to say no to that. Both companies are winning at that point.
Yeah, I mean, as a wrestling fan, I just love the idea of like a dream match between, an Okada and AJ Styles again. You know, like those matches, just to see that. I mean, what I never saw was like a Kevin Owens versus like Tanahashi. Like, to me, I think right away when a WWE New Japan partnership, like, who do I love over in both promotions? Who would I love to see wrestle? Who would maybe have yet to wrestle? Like, dude, like a Cesaro Naito. Like, oh,
that would be so much fun.
I just like, dude, just give me all these dream matches, right? You think as wrestling fans, we'd be the ones to win, to really win out with this partnership. But I'm just super pessimistic on any kind of New Japan WWE deal, because I just don't see it coming true. To me, these seem like total fake rumors that like pipe dreams. Yeah. Like, I would love to see love to see it happen, but I'm also not getting my hopes up because I don't trust Vince to make that happen. Or if something anything similar, I only see it happening at a Royal Rumble. Like, hey, we need entrance. Let's bring in a New Japan guy for a Royal Rumble spot, and that's it. I don't see them actually putting them in actual matches.
I would see them putting them in actual matches, especially if they are kind of pushing Shinsuke. Because they have an open door right there with Shinsuke Nakamura, because he was in New Japan. He was a really big star in New Japan.
Huge, yeah.
So somebody to come in and kind of be a manager or kind of like one of his like a teammate for Shinsuke during his run or something like that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So it's not really having that, like, they have a match, but it's actually having their name there is it going to be a big pull. I mean, Okada would be a fantastic pull, but I don't know if they would actually give up Okada.
You don't think so? Well, then what's the point then, right? At that point, you want the biggest star if you're doing a promotional switch. Like, because right away we think, well, it's got to be the Okada versus Roman Reigns match, right? Like, that's the two biggest.
Yeah.
But I saw, of course, internet wrestling is... wrestling Twitter is always the best, where they said it's only a matter of time before Okada jobs out to Strowman. It's like, damn, dude, well, you gotta like right away make me not want the New Japan WWE's partnership, because that's probably what would happen, right? Like, god damn it, you gotta make Strowman look strong, god damn it.
I don't think that would actually happen, because the only way that would happen is if WWE owns New Japan. New Japan's smart about that already. They've already had that issue. That's why that was a big thing when Okada went to WCW and they made him look like crap. They were like, nope, we're done with this. It's over. We're not doing this anymore. And they don't forget.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting, man, because right away you think, well, New Japan, you mentioned WWE buying New Japan. And right away, that's what I think. Like, that'd be great, because you get some New Japan stuff on WWE's network or on the Peacock network.
Yeah.
But New Japan's got a good partnership, a good ownership group, right?
Yeah.
But I wonder how much money does Vince actually have? Does he want to pony over to get that Japanese market? Because he's wanted to expand over there for a while.
Yeah, he was in the market for a couple of companies over there. All Japan, New Japan, a couple of little smaller ones. I don't think he went for Stardom.
Maybe Noah.
Probably Noah. Yeah, I think. Yeah, who owns New Japan? Vanguard, I think.
Well,
they bought Stardom.
New Japan's owned by a card company, a trading card company, right?
I think Vanguard. I think that's the name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out between New Japan and their American partnership, because anytime New Japan's available in the United States, it's always exciting to see, man. And so crossovers are always exciting. I hope more of it happens with AEW, because it feels like a more natural partnership there than with WWE. So we just have to keep waiting and seeing, man. So continuing on with our Double or Nothing recap. The next match after the Casino Battle Royale was Anthony Algo versus Cody Rhodes. Once again, another match I had to skip, mainly because Cody Rhodes was in it. And Rick, did you check out any of this match?
No, honestly, I didn't.
That's all right, man.
I actually didn't.
You and the entire AEW universe. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't interesting to me. There wasn't really much of an interest to this match, and I was kind of like, I'm okay.
Is it because of that build that promo that Cody Rhodes cut where he calls himself the American Dream?
That was such a horrible.
Did you see? Well, this is once again wrestling Twitter being how great they are. Cody supposedly said that he workshopped that and focus grouped that promo. That can't be accurate, right? That had to be like a fake quote from Cody, because there's no way he's douchey enough to do that with his promo, right? Mm-hmm. And secondly, if he did do that, there's no way it would pass a workshop group.
I don't think so either. But dude, I have no idea. I don't know what the inner workings of what's going on with that. So
with AEW, and too many cooks in that kitchen, and that always worried me. There's a lot of that internet wrestling speculation now that there's infighting between all the EVPs over there, Cody, the Bucks, and Omega, that they don't talk to each other, that they're not on speaking terms. That's like when somebody's gonna write a book about this in 5 years, you're gonna see how crazy it was. And it's like, that doesn't surprise me, man. It's just like there's a lot of strong personalities there that always want to be right and always think they have the best idea. So that's always worrisome. And that tells you why there's only me and Rick here on this episode and not Sonny and Donald. That tells you there's too many strong personalities there. No, I'm just kidding. Shouts out to D-Bot and to Sonny. That we're nothing like that. We all get along, right? That's why we all do a podcast together.
Sure.
No, but that's so funny, man. Like that does not surprise me with those guys, because Cody feels like that type of personality, right? Like, he's right. He knows what he's doing, and he doesn't listen to somebody else's opinion. But that might just be me believing his gimmick a little bit too much. What do you think about Cody?
Maybe. Honestly, I mean, he's a hard worker. I know that he has a good amount of experience. I mean, his father was one of the greats, so that can possibly be involved in that, where feels like, he's been in the business for X amount of time because his father was in the business and how great he was. So he should know better. And he has, his mindset is already, wrestling 101. He knows everything. So maybe that's kind of how he has it set up, but I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever it is, on screen, he comes off that way.
Yeah.
So as a wrestling fan, it's tough to kind of root for him. When he was on back on the YouTube series of Being the Elite, when he was playing that character, it was funny. But now that he's like on main TV not even playing this character, but just coming off that way, it's hard to root for him or just like be invested in his matches now. So I mean, as a wrestling fan, I say this for Cody: he needs to take a break off TV. What do you think, Rick?
I think so. I think he needs to just kind of do the in the background, do the matches, start booking some stuff, get a little time off. I think he should be taking some time off too. He's about to have a little boy, girl.
A little girl. Yeah,
a little girl.
He and Brandy Rose.
Yeah, so that's perfect time to kind of go off. So, and then come back, kind of anew, like, hey, Cody Rhodes. Hey,
we missed you. Yeah. give us time to miss him, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because right now, when there's heels that you love that were like you hate them because you want to watch, you hate watch them and everything like that. But with him, it's just like, it's not that great to hate watch. It's just like, well, this is boring.
He's got that go away heat.
Yeah.
Poor Cody, man. Like I said, a break would do everyone well there for Cody. But so going on to the next match. By the way, Cody goes over on this match.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that he's getting flack for. That he didn't put over the young guy, but man, the young guy is not gonna. This one match, but I know wins and losses matter here.
Mm-hmm.
But one match is not going to end the career for this Anthony Ogo guy.
I don't think so.
He looks like he's got a lot of star potential, man. So let's wait and see still what happens down the road. So the next match was a match that I was looking forward to. It was a TNT Championship match between Miro versus Lance Archer. I did not get back from my errand in time to watch this match. I did see some of the highlights, and it lived up to that physical brutality, right? Oh, yeah. Did you catch any of it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's dude, what I always hear, if you guys have been listening, I always like two big dudes beating the hell out of each other. It's just great. It's just great to see two big old bruisers beating the crap out of each other. It was so much fun to watch.
Rick loves his brawling.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, who doesn't like it? Nobody. Who doesn't like two big ass people just beating the hell out of each other?
Hit them harder.
It's great.
It's strong style.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a good match to watch. I'm hoping that there wasn't a real snake in that bag when he through the bag. You have PETA on you
for PETA's
exactly.
For PETA's cause. It was not it was a gimmick snake.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a great match to see. I think that Miro is one of those people that I honestly thought he was going to be a lot bigger in WWE. Mm-hmm. They gave him a shot, and they just kind of gave up on him or something. He was great. He's such a great guy on the mic. He's so talented in the freaking ring. It's not even, and you can tell he puts other people over with him as well. It's not always him. So it's great to see him actually being pushed, and I think he's a really good right now TNT champion.
Yeah, exactly. He is, the face of TNT right now. It's a TNT champion. And I think it was that match where he won the title off of Darby Allin was such a great match, dude. Yeah. Darby Allin and Miro put on a great Dynamite main event that it was great storytelling, and we'll talk about Darby Allin a little bit later, but real quick, we'll mention how he is such a great talent that sells so well, but yet his comebacks are very believable because he is a relentless competitor. Like, yeah, he can absorb that punishment. He's Darby Allin. He keep beating him up. He's going to absorb it and watch out. He's going to come back on you. You ain't killed him yet. Yeah, exactly. So he's still going to come back. And that's why that match was just so great when Miro actually got the win. It's like, whoa, It was shocking.
Yeah, it was.
Right? You think about it. Miro, is a great bruiser, a strong brute, beating the hell out of Darby the entire match. So the naked eye, it's like, oh, he's beating this poor guy. He's killing this guy. It was like, wait for it. And when it didn't come, it's like, oh, damn, Miro's legit. And it's kind of, you remember that streak that, Miro had in New York. That he was like undefeated for a while, I feel like, right? Like, It wasn't that his going into WrestleMania against John Cena when he came in on the tank, that, he was the Bulgarian brute, man. And it was believable, the United States champion, that he was awesome, right? Like, So it's great to see AEW letting Miro be Miro again and just a dominant powerhouse brute. And with that Lance Archer battle, just a lot more of that bruising battle, just back and forth, and Miro going over it with a submission. What did you think of that submission finish?
Oh no, that was great. It just shows like pretty much he's gonna put you down. He's gonna get you there, and that just shows a strong TNT champion.
Yeah, totally, man. And that's what you want from that quote unquote secondary title, the working man's title. It's always going to be that way. The ones that they're not, it's not super shiny, but it's always great matches you're going to see out of the secondary title. So AEW is living up to that part of the bargain with the secondary title. The next match was the women's title match, Kuroshita versus defending against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. So, man, once again, I got there just in time to see the finish, and man, that was a nice back and forth finish, dude.
Oh yeah,
I mean, we all kind of felt that Britt Baker was going to finally go over here. Like there was no surprise there. Spoiler alert, of course she wins it, but the manner in which she won it, I thought Shida was a great fighting champion to drop it that way. Yeah. What did you think of that finish, Rick?
No, I believe pretty much the same thing on point. It just went to show that Cheetah wasn't just a pushover and Britt Baker just came in and, won the title like nothing. Where you can see that every single match that Cheetah had before was a great match. And this one was nothing different. So they both look strong. They both look good. And let's see what happens with, what's going on with Britt Baker after this point. Let's see how she does it. Hopefully she has a good, like the same run as Cheetah does, where it's a great matches. But we'll see.
Well, she has yet to disappoint with her matches. Remember that match she had with Thunder Rosa? Yeah. That was a great Dynamite main event match. So the AEW women's division gets a lot of flack for it being a little bit inconsistent. But with Cheetah and Britt Baker anchoring those matches, and of course Thunder Rosa being able to, at one point, do we get a triple threat between those three? That would be exciting to see, but it also feels like would there be too much to cram in on a match between those three? Where if it kind of feels better to have one-on-ones between them all, right?
I don't know, actually. I've never really thought about that. So I really don't know. There's 3 great workers.
AEW does love triple threats, man.
So I think that would be pretty good to watch. I think it would be very like a hyped match to see. I don't know if it's gonna be executed very well, but the thing is, it should still be a fun match to watch.
And All Out, it's gonna happen. Yeah. Triple threat for the title. You watch. Tony Khan's listening in right now. He's gonna book it. All right, but great entertaining match. Congratulations to Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, being the new AEW Women's Champion. Next was Sting and Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page tag team match. What did you think of this match, Rick?
Man, the old man still got it. It was so much fun to see Sting actually be able to go, get that match, get his stuff in, get the stingers, everything. It was so much fun.
The stinger splash, man.
Yeah, man. It's so much fun to watch.
And I love the way he takes him off with the Scorpion, Deathlocks to Scorpio Sky. Scorpio Sky with the Scorpion Death Drop. You see what he was doing? You know Scorpio Sky was a big Sting fan, right? He's kind of named himself after the Scorpion Deathlock. Yeah. And it was a great spot too when Sting, is behind Scorpio Sky in the middle of the ring, and just great Scorpio Sky selling like a real, sissy heel, like scared to get in the ring with him, So just great stuff, man. Good overall tag team match. Do you think Sting and Darby Allin are going to get tag team title shots later?
I think so. I actually think so. It would be great to see them. We were talking about earlier, Darby Allin is just so good. He's so good. He makes everything so believable. He really throws himself into a match, and it's just so great to see him freaking actually wrestle. So, and then Sting is just so much fun to see. Yeah. So much fun. So why wouldn't you put them against the Young Bucks?
I wonder how that style would look, right? Because Sting, will he be able to keep up with the fast pacedness of the Young Bucks? I guess they would have to do more of a beatdown style onto Sting at some point. Yeah. To, kind of help him out, because obviously Sting's in his 50s, man. So he really shouldn't be doing too much anyway. But he could still get his spots in, as we were talking about. That Stinger splashes, Scorpion Deathlock at one point, and then ending it with the Scorpion Death Drop. So he could still give you the hits, but he ain't gonna play a full concert. You know what I'm saying? So it's exciting every time we get to see Sting like actually work in the ring, not just cinematic matches. So but I would not be opposed to maybe a cinematic match with the Young Bucks. That could also work too, because the Young Bucks are pretty creative. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing something like that.
But with Darby Allin, he kind of can carry Sting. That's the whole thing, though, because he can go in there, he can get his ass beat, he can kind of come back and then bring in Sting, and then Sting gets in there, beats the hell out of the Bucks. They kind of go back and forth. They slow him down. Then Darby comes back in, and look, I'm already telling the damn match right here that they just need to do.
You're already booking it.
Exactly. So it can be done. I think it can be done. And in my head, I think it'll be a fun match to watch, and it's very possible.
We're booking all out right here for you, Tony. You got it. You're welcome. No need to think about it. So the AEW Championship match was the co-main event. That's right, because Kenny Omega was defending against Pac and Orange Cassidy. Kenny Omega, of course, retains, but not after a solid co-main event, man. Just where Pac and Orange Cassidy get their stuff in. And my favorite spot of this whole match, real quick, Rick, before I get your opinions on this match, I gotta say my favorite spot was of course, near the finish, was the spot where Kenny Omega hits Pac with all 4 of his title belts. And I thought that was just some great heel work right there, man. Don Callis throwing in one title after another and hitting Pac with Pac is still up. Throw me another belt. Throw me another championship belt. He's got 4 of them. You might as well use all 4 of them. How great is that of a heel to use not just one of his title belts, but all 4 that he is currently owning, man. That was hilarious. What stood out to you in this match?
Well, I love that too. The way Kenny was just going no, not done yet. Bring me the other one. wait, got one more. Bring me. It was just so great. It was fun. There, Pocket is always just such a high flyer, and also
athletic as hell.
Just go. And always Orange Cassidy is so much fun to watch. Mm-hmm. He can actually, his style is just a little, but then when he kicks in, it's great to see as well.
He could go, yeah.
And then Kenny Omega's Kenny Omega. So come on, this is going to be a no brainer. He's going to actually do some great freaking moves, like that Avalanche Falcon Arrow.
Yes.
Oh my God, I could when I saw that I was like, what the hell? I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Good thing that didn't go wrong because that looked devastating, and if it would have went wrong, oh my God, that would have been pretty bad.
I feel like he's done that before, though.
Has he? I don't think I've seen that one.
Man, he's so innovative, man. He's just so crazy that you knew Pac and Omega were going to put on a great show, but then you also put on the entertainment aspect of with Orange Cassidy as well, and Orange Cassidy pulling his weight too. I mean, the finish was so quick. The orange punch is such an hilarious finisher that it's devastatingly of course, that's why he's conserving his energy. He's not overexerting himself to build up for the orange punch. That makes total sense, right?
If you say so. It's always one of those things where it makes sense with Roman Reigns, big dude clobbing you, right in the chin. And then Orange Cassidy kind of not so big dude, and then punching you and then knocking somebody out. But it's funny though. It's funny to see him just kind of wind up, pop, and then out of nowhere they're like, oh, they ragdoll. It's so funny to see. It's like, oh my God. But
that's such a devastating punch.
Exactly.
And that's why Orange Cassidy is such a great character to have in an AEW. He's a perfect AEW character, man. He is just very nonchalant. I mean, hands in his pockets when he does suicide dives out of the ring too, man, and doesn't nip up with his hands in his pocket, man. It's just so hilarious to see such an entertaining character. Once again, another AEW star that I hope gets a title run at some point, man. AEW has some great, homegrown talent that they could work and build around. But I mean, once again, year 2.5, year 3 of AEW, it's still so early that we don't know who eventually they're gonna, really put the face of AEW on. Are they gonna kind of be like WWE, where WWE now is oh, everybody's a superstar here in WWE, and they just go off of the brand, right?
Yeah.
But AEW, but that's not how WWE originally got big, right? They had names to build their promotion. So AEW needs to look at that and not emulate it, but also realize that that's how you build your brand first. You got to have big names, which is why they signed a Jericho and all that to get the initial excitement, the Kenny Omega. So, I mean, they have young stars that they can build on, and I hope they do eventually. So now we go to the main event, the Stadium Stampede 2.0, Double or Nothing tradition now of Stadium Stampedes. And there was the Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle. If the Inner Circle were to lose this match, they must disband. So, of course, right away, that gives you an indication there's no way they're going to break up the Inner Circle. So you knew they were going to go over. They did, but not before an entertaining, match that had, of course, comedic elements because they're It's a stadium stampede.
Yeah.
So they started off inside the 50-yard line of TIAA Stadium over in Jacksonville, where home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And of course, they start in the ring in the middle of the football field. But of course, that's not where it ends. It's going to have to go throughout the stadium. And there are some great cameos, right? So what was your favorite cameo, Rick? Our favorite spot in the match.
Oh, my favorite spot in the match? It would probably have to be when it was MJF and Jericho were going back and forth in between the offices.
Mm-hmm.
It was so much fun to see them just going back and forth. And then damn, I'm trying to remember what that little tag said when Jericho stapled it to MJF's forehead.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Welcome. There you go. That was funny. That made me laugh. I was like, oh, that's such a great, and then MJF just selling it so like,
yeah. Well, anytime somebody gets anything stapled to their forehead, always makes me irk. Like, oh, damn, dude, that hurts, dude. That is not nice. There's no gimmicking that, dude. You're just taking a staple.
Yeah, I would imagine not.
Yeah, I think what really stood out to me, or one of my favorite spots in this match, is the Sean Spears theatrical reveal inside a room of chairs, sitting on a chair. Like that was like really cool because he's known as the chairman ever since he busted open Cody Rhodes with a gimmick chair that left him in a pool of blood. So he's kind of been selling that whole chairman thing. I thought that was really like movie-esque. And so many spots in this match made me feel like I was watching a 1980s bad action movie. Dude.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily a bad or a good thing, but it's like, especially I felt that way during the Jake Hager Wardlow spots because they're just two brutes going after each other and just like they're not really doing any moves. They're just beating the hell out of each other with whatever they can find. And most of the guys were doing that too. But I guess just these two bruisers made me feel like I'm watching like a bad Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, you know? I mean, and my favorite cameo though was definitely when was between the revival FTR and Santana and Ortiz because they meet up at some kind of bar in the back, like a VIP area of the stadium, right?
Yeah.
And there's a DJ playing, and the DJ is Conan. So that was like a really cool LAX nod, you know? So like that was like dope. And of course, Tully tries to get involved and Conan stops him from getting involved. So like, oh, he's backing up Santana Ortiz again, just like LAX days. So that was really cool to see. Anything else? What else stood out to you in this Stadium Stampede match?
I just think it was done really well. Everything was actually fun. It was fun to watch. Everything was well executed. And it was great to see that Sammy Guevara finished it. You know, he's still an up and coming AEW. I mean, he's already big. Everybody's like, knows about Sammy. He's really damn young. I don't even remember how old he is. He's really still damn young, and he has a lot of way to go. So he's 27. Damn, I looked it up right now. He's 27.
Wow.
27 years old, and he's already, at a level that's so great.
That's the age The Rock was when he won the first time he won the WWE title.
Oh yeah,
that is So he might be due, right? Like
I think so.
As much as we've talked about AEW stars, who are they grooming? Why not a Sammy Guevara, right? Because as we were watching that Stadium Stampede match, I'm like, yeah, I don't really care much for a lot of brawling matches. I'm the opposite of you. I want to see spot chain wrestling, stuff like that. So I could not stop thinking, like, you know what? I want to see a Sean Spears, Sammy Guevara one-on-one match.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Like straight, maybe number one contenders match. For the winner gets a shot at, the AEW title. So, I mean, that's what I want to see next. Especially because, like as we're saying, as you're saying, Rick, that he's ready for an AEW title run. He's ready for like some main event status. You think?
I think so. I really think so. He has the charisma. You can see he's a great worker, and people love him. It's one of those things where it's like he can go either or way, and people are gonna love him.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. The AEW's got a lot of potential, and that's what worries me with a lot of promotions is they have potential, but are they going to execute it to their potential? Right. And that's what we fault AEW a lot for here on this show, because we love AEW. We appreciate the work that they put out, but we still see their flaws from being lifelong WWE fans. Yeah. Right. And you can't help but compare. And I'm sure they can't feel like they have to compare themselves to WWE, even though they always say we're not going after that market, which I appreciate. You don't have to be like WWE, but you should also try to borrow or just learn from their successes and their failures.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to do as a wrestling promotion, and really focus on that production, that TV production value, man. Because if you're aesthetically more pleasing to the eyes, you're just going to get more people watching your TV product, because we're going to go to your live shows. As soon as AEW comes to LA, Rick and I, D-Bot and Sonny are going to go to see your live shows. So you don't have to get us for that. What you do have to work on is your TV production, your pay-per-view production, so that way you could get more people, more than just Rick and myself, to order your pay-per-views, So, I mean, overall, Double or Nothing, exciting. Like we were saying, we were lukewarm going into it. It delivered a good pay-per-view, though. Entertaining as always. AEW always puts on a good show. What do you want to see from AEW going forward as they build into All Out?
It's still the production that we're talking about. It's if you want to, it's always a situation where you don't want to be like WWE, but you want to be better than WWE. You want to be a better version of WWE. That's what you should always try to build to. Not make a carbon copy, but like you said, take things from what you want to be, what you don't want to be, but learn from it and be a better thing. So their production, to me, needs to get a little better. That's what I want AEW to kind of go towards. And you have all the marks. You have me. You have Alex. Of course, we're watching AEW. We're doing the whole pay-per-views. We're buying in, and selling out.
There it is. There it is. We're all in.
Yeah. But the thing is, what WWE has is the rest of the rest of the actual group, where those people are like wondering, how does this go? The normies, casuals, they actually still kind of look at it because they have the Rocks, they have the John Cenas, they have the big names. You ask a casual, wrestling fan or somebody that doesn't really know much about wrestling, and you say, you say a Kenny Omega, or you say a Miro, or you say a, Orange Cassidy or something like that. They're still not big names out there. They're not. That's still going to take a while. And going on tour is going to help. Yeah, that's going to help a lot.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to get that AEW out there. They're going to be at their local arena or stadium or something, and you're going to see that and go, I wonder what that is. But it's going to take time. But the thing is, you have to have that production behind it, because casual people aren't there for the spots. They aren't there for the names. They're there to see if they see something that they like. If it looks good, they stay. If it's not that good, they're like, and then they just kind of go on to the next thing.
Exactly. And what's going to help build a TV fan base is good commentary. All due respect to JR, but I talked to Rick about this when we were watching the pay-per-view. Like, I love JR. I'll always love JR. He'll always have a special place in my wrestling heart. But when he's still doing commentary, I really feel like he's just on there too much. He really needs to hang it up. And AEW signed a new commentary person to host AEW Rampage, none other than the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, Rick's favorite wrestler. How excited are you to have Mark Henry on AEW?
I actually honestly am. He is such a great wrestler, but not even that. It's just in the background, he is going to bring so much freaking information and all this to AEW. He's a great scout to find new talent. He's gotten a bunch of great talent for WWE. He's a great in-ring performer, so he knows what needs to be done, and he just knows the business.
Yeah.
So it's gonna help AEW a lot. I think that's a great pickup. It's not for wrestling,
right?
I think, but just the rest of it, everything else, I think Mark Henry's gonna make a big difference for AEW.
So we're not gonna get the Big Show versus Mark Henry commentator versus commentator match on AEW anytime soon. You don't think so?
I hope not, honestly.
Don't put it past them. Don't put it past them, because anything could happen in wrestling, as you know.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping. I'm with you, Rick. I hope we don't get commentator versus commentator match there.
Yeah. The whole WWE, the whole Jerry Lawler and the Michael Cole thing, I remember. It was funny, But I'm like, is this worth watching as a match? Not really. I'm like, whatever.
It's always funny in like the writer's room to kick that idea around until you make a wrestling fan sit through it on a WrestleMania card.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
that you're actually torturing us at that point, man. Not a good idea.
Yeah,
but
I was like,
as we move forward with AEW and Lucha Royale specials, we'll continue to cover commentator versus commentator, referee versus referee matches, whatever AEW has coming down the pipe, because it's always exciting. We're big wrestling marks here. Rick, thank you again for always talking Lucha Royale, wrestling with me. I appreciate it, man.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. Actually, one last thing before commenting, talking about commentary and stuff like that. Sucky thing to talk about, but the thing is, one of the Spanish commentators in AEW.
Yes.
I wanted to bring this up.
You got to, yes.
Just for people to you got to stop doing things like this. This is not right to do. It's not cool. Everybody treat everybody with respect. What's
you got to let everybody know what we're talking about.
So pretty much, yeah, pretty much on a Dynamite, they were talking about the Spanish announcers were talking, and
it was during Hikaru Shida's.
Yeah, it was during that, and then they thought that the mics were off, which doesn't matter if the mics are on or off. You shouldn't be doing this. And Willie was doing a horrible, Japanese accent, and was just joking around. They're like, "Oh yeah, why don't you just do an accent?" And he started joking around and doing an accent.
Yeah,
and don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that. There's no reason to be doing that. It's not funny. What was the point of that? There was no reason to be doing that. That's just so disrespectful.
Yeah, it's one of these things where not even knowing your audience, it's just being better, right? Being better, like, oh, he's asking me to make him pop right here by doing a funny accent. Yeah. It's like, man, you're in a professional setting. You got to act professional. You got to, and then I guess Thunder Rosa was also on commentary at this point too, and she was even saying, "Hey, you got to stop doing that."
Yeah, but there people were saying that, I don't know if she really meant it. She was. People are saying that she jokingly was kind of saying, "Oh, stop. You should kind of stop that." I don't know, but the thing is, I don't know. I
didn't hear the audio myself.
Exactly. I just know what happened, but the thing is, I haven't heard the audio. I'll probably go back and listen to it.
I've only heard. I read the transcripts, but I didn't. Of what happened. Right. It was during the Hikaru Shida new women's title presentation. Mm-hmm. They go to break, and the Spanish announce team is mocking Shida's Japanese accent.
Yeah,
it's like. And a lot of the internet wrestling community is like, well, how can somebody who's like a primary Spanish speaker with an English accent mock somebody else with an English accent? Like, that's ridiculous and redundant, right? Or not even redundant, but just like unsympathetic.
Exactly.
Unsympathetic to you knowing that English is not your primary language.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that? That's ridiculous. But I mean, and all power to AEW for actually, seeing the situation and reprimanding this person and firing them from commentary, because there's no reason for it. Nope. It wasn't funny. Nope. Not even you weren't even on. It wasn't even a bit for TV. It was off air, which makes it worse because you think that's funny and you and your colleagues thinks it's funny. So maybe you shouldn't be working here. It's just intolerable at that point. So good example by AEW's management by reprimanding that situation, and there's just no need for it.
Nope, not at all.
I mean, how do you end on a more positive note? I mean, you just watch AEW and turn off the commentary. I think that's all you can do. Just watch it for the wrestling and just make up your own commentary. That's more socially acceptable, and just call the matches. Don't put any dumb commentary or be a real heel and root for all the heels. That's what we were saying too on the last commentary. There's not enough heel commentators.
Oh, dude, that's why Jerry Lawler was so great.
Right.
It was one of those great commentary setups where there was, the heel and the babyface commentators, and they just go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a JBL. I always liked JBL too. Taz was great too. It was, oh man.
And Callis is killing it right now.
Yeah,
he's the absolute best.
Oh yeah, what was he saying? He's the pimple on
the pimple on the ass of society.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. I love Orange Cassidy. He's not the pimple on the ass of society. Oh, man. Rick, thank you so much again for joining me. Thank you so much for listening to West Box Score. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at West Box Score. Be sure to follow Sonny and Mono's podcast, the Fox Crate Podcast, wherever you get your podcast downloaded. It's a podcast where vinyl meets culture. Ooh. So he's also on Instagram at the Fox Crate. Be sure to check out our Discord, our ever-growing Discord that's in the show notes right there. Rick has hopped on some score sessions with us, where shouts out to Big Money Matt Paz, Billy Delgado. We're also booking the territory with him on there too about AEW. I'm sure he'll listen to this and want to hop on another score session with us and really break down what we might have missed on this episode of Lucha Royale. But until then, we'll see you next time. See ya.
Later.